Hi sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn your notification so you are notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I am saying massive shout out to every one of you for the love, the support you all shower me here with. I am grateful, and to all my members, you all are super sweet. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's something that happened on national television. They invited Guyana president to ask him some silly questions about reparations, and not just asking him for reparations, and they were also asking him to give them the numbers of the money they think they should pay for, some silly kind of messed up thing on live television. And the man was like, you all are supposed to do the math and know what you all are supposed to pay and all that. And not just only was he talking about reparations, he started by, why do we have to pay, for what the generations did? And the man was like, because you are still benefiting from that same system. Yes, all the labors, all the sweat, all the things they went through, you all the sweat, all the things they built, their labors, you all are still still benefiting from it to this very moment. And the fact that they always come up with all these questions is something that baffles me, really, on a serious note. And always look for a way to gaslight themselves, not even black people. Yeah. Because if you all wake up and think that you all do not have something to repair or fix for all the horrible things you all did to African Americans and all that, you all are still part of the system that is still oppressing them. Yeah. And that is on period. So what are we talking about? You all pay the reparations, not just only paying they actually think the money they are paying is enough. That money is not enough. The lands you all stole, pay them back. And then you all got to send your people down to come and serve, because that was what black people's ancestors went through. And you all are out there asking, why do we need to pay reparations? Cut down that check for real. I am rolling this clip. We'll come back to talk about it. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. So straight up, let's get into it.
Why should somebody who maybe had an ancestor 7 or 8 generations ago?
He goes on to ask the prime minister, why should the children of today, or the people of today, pay reparations for the things that their great grandparents did, the injustices that their lineage did. And Chef's kiss to his smirk, it was beautiful. And he didn't mince words in his response. But that's not even the part I want to talk about. When the prime minister answers the question, and he says, because you still benefit, because your society has benefited from countries like mine by extracting human resources, labor, and in doing so has denied countries like mine competitiveness and things like that, right? When he answers the question, hopefully, directly, intentionally, at no point do either anchors process the information that they have just been given. They don't think to themselves, what does that mean? How should I interpret that? And what should my follow-up question be, right? The very next question that they ask is how much the checks should be written for, which was the question they had before he gave the answer he gave, which tells me that y'all aren't listening to what the man just said, because you didn't ask for clarification. You didn't even thank him for answering that question. You didn't ask for descriptors like, can you describe to me how our country has benefited, or how these countries have benefited from countries like yours? Like, you didn't ask a direct line of follow-up questions to what he just answered. Because in your mind, whatever he says is wrong. Whatever his answer wasn't ever going to be sufficient. So you had rapid fire questions to try to discredit whatever he said. So in your head, well, why should we pay reparations was a gotcha. right? And, well, how much should we pay? It was a gotcha. You never really intended for him to have a response. So even when you asked that second question, he had a response. Oh, well, there's plenty of literature. There's plenty of people have done this research, because they also did not say to themselves, they didn't process it and say, well, I wonder, let's do some research and we'll get back with you. We'll do a follow-up interview after we've had an opportunity to look at the numbers and see what this information is and what the amount should be, right? Why are they requiring the prime minister of a country to do the labor of telling them how much money should be paid when they're news anchors? Like, your whole job is research. That's your whole job. It's to go get a source, get the answers, and report it to the people. And you got on national television, international television, and decided to ask a man who runs a country to go do some work for you, to figure out the numbers. Are y'all crazy? Anyway, tell me what y'all think.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Mr. President, on behalf of all of our viewers who would be covered by...
After they finish paying cash, they must ship in their able-bodied men and women from the age of 16 to 28 years old to come to our countries to labor and work in our factories, our farms, roads construction, building construction, and all of it. Serve us in our houses as maids. This must be done, and still we will not be equal. It will not be equal to what they've done to us. They will not leave our countries until we say we are satisfied. They will stay for many years and do this work for us. Then we can be a little bit equal. Other than that, they must keep their mouth shut and
have to pay now for what an ancient ancestor did.
Because you're still reaping the benefits of your ancient ancestors, and we're still reaping the punishment for it. My Indian passport, as an Indian passport holder, I still have to apply and spend literally $800 sometimes to be able to just visit your country for a couple days. The British pound is more powerful than the Indian rupee because of the ancient ancestors doing. You robbed my country, not only of resources and finances, like literally trillions of dollars. Look it up. I don't have the math in front of me, but it's trillions of dollars. You robbed us of our identity. You sowed deep-seated divisions between Hindus and Muslims that continue to affect us today on a global, geopolitical, international, scary, nuclear level. We are still battling with our neighbors, Pakistan, because of what your ancient ancestors did. These are my people. We're the same people. We have the same history and culture, and we're still fighting about it. The colorism that you installed still affects my people to this day. Darker Indians do not get the same opportunities as lighter Indians, white passing Indians. It's taken us 75 years to start to get out of the hole that you put us into, and we're only just beginning. We're still developing. Meanwhile, British citizens have ease of access. They have public welfare systems, have security in knowing that their currency is valued around the world. Meanwhile, my people are ridiculed. My people are ridiculed and spat upon throughout the world. Your ancient ancestor was so good at dividing my people that you enacted a caste system that now my people are blamed for. You took an obscure passage in some Hindu text and decided, no, this is how we're gonna segregate people so they turn on each other. And we're still doing it. We're doing it to ourselves. You introduced shame to my people. Indian women wouldn't wear blouses with their saris. We would have our boobs out because we didn't have shame. And we knew that breasts are not something to be just sexualized. They are an important part of a mother and child bonding and feeding process. But you told us that we should cover up because showing our bodies was shameful. And with this shame came such insane repercussions, misogynistic, rapey tendencies that still exist. Women are not safe in many parts of my country because of the shame that Victorian England's introduced, that the body is something to be ashamed of, that the body is something to cover. You took away the rights of LGBTQ Indians, the hijra, which was such an important part of Hindu culture. You made them something to be ashamed of. You pushed them to the fringes of society, and they're still dealing with that today. There is anti-LGBTQ legislation based on what your ancient ancestors did. Now we're only starting to decolonize and come back to our roots, which were so much more inclusive than what you put us through. So yes, your ancient ancestors did that, but you are responsible for fixing their wrong because my people are still dealing with it. Don't tell me it's not your fault.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Mr. President, on behalf of all of our viewers who would be covered by.
All right, so recap. This is in regards to reparations, specifically reparations to the people of African descent, that group of melanated people. What I find most intriguing about this process is that they seem to only have a problem when it comes to us. They do not have a problem with giving money to people who they don't even have to owe any money to. Yeah, think about that real hard. They don't even have to give any money to them. They don't owe them anything, but they'll give that money away, right? But then when it comes to giving money back, or it's really a form of amends. It's a form of surrender. Hey. The waving of the flag that is supposed to be white, which I want to know that too. Why is it that the white flag is a representation of surrender? Okay. But yet they don't want to raise the white flag when it comes to reparations. Okay. So it's a lot of stuff going on. There's also the fact that anywhere across the globe where the people, a group of people were offended and they are not the descendants of the African diaspora, they'll send them money. They'll give them money. As a matter of fact, they'll go as far as pay someone else who might be connected, like the U.S. to France relationship. This is why I don't study his history as much, because all it would do is tick me off even more. And I had to learn from personal experience to accept the fact that this has been the pattern displayed. Then what do you do with the pattern once it is displayed? You accept the pattern for what it is, but you also make sure that you try to keep the pattern in high where I see you, boo. But to each his own. We know what it is. I have thought about it intricately enough to know why they don't want to. There's two major reasons, possibly three, and I'm not going to list them because they know. They just don't want nobody else who is suffering from the results of it to know. The system works better when the people are ignorant. When the people are aware, aka awake, aka in the knowing of what has happened, and know that something can be done about it. Child, only an ignoramus would not want it to be done. Let's talk about it from the point of view of credit cards and that type of thing. So you get a loan, right? Go to the bank, get a loan get approved, cool. And you owe the bank's money, whatever. Okay? Do you know that if you do not pay, the bank can do quite a few things with the current assets that you might have? You know that they could liquidate what they call certain forms of liquidations? Hey, we talking finance. Okay. And that's because it is a debt that is owed to them. So if it is a debt that is owed to them, we're talking abstracts like banks right now. If it's a debt that's owed to a bank and they can do that, what do you think will happen in other things? Because the atrocity that happened to the people of the African diaspora is more than just financial. Yes, it's more than just financial. It is very much spiritual as well. Yeah, but I have tried to take the lighter approach and just say, okay, alrighty. That don't mean that what they doing is all right, but I just look at it and go, okay. Because one way or another, the spirit shall balance the scales. Mother Mayat will do what she is said to do, baby. And when you get on there and you ain't as light as the feather, Mother Mayat will handle the weather. Oh, just in case many don't know, Mother Mayat, the pseudo representation of her would be the Statue of Liberty. Okay, well, I'm gonna go on my business because, like I said, I tried to leave that damn subject alone because I already know what I'm gonna do with it. Yeah. All righty then. Chizawa.
Why should somebody who maybe had an ancestor 7 or 8 generations...
For me, I feel like everyone knows this, but they actually don't. In 2015, your taxes is when it finally stopped paying for the freedom of slaves in this country. So as wild and as scary as that sounds, in 1833, Britain used 40% of its national budget to buy the freedom of all the slaves. So no, fast forward all of those years, 2015 is when it was finally paid off. For how many years we've literally paid off the freedom of our ancestors. And I think what's wild is people like that presenter will then go off and say things like they did say. So yeah, I don't know a lot about a lot of things, but I know a handful of very random things. And this is one fact that was just re-triggered in my brain when I saw that video. But yeah, the world is completely fucked. Completely fucked.
What would you expect the payout to be and over what period of time?
Ordinarily, I'd be behind the president of Guyana, but in this case, I'm not. And the reason I'm not is because you cannot talk about inhumanity, indignity, suffering and dehumanization of people when that's still happening within your own country. The LGBTQIA+ community within Guyana are still subjected to inequality. They still don't have the same rights as their heterosexual counterparts. And while I understand that attitudes are changing, the law in Guyana does not reflect that. And so when Guyana is prepared to give equal rights and to accept that discrimination is unacceptable for everyone, then I'll be prepared to entertain the idea of reparation.
This is all I got from the stitches, and yeah, you all know how crazy palm-colored people could be, because they asked him on national television to go find out the numbers. Like, who does that? You are broadcasting something, and you wanted to ask him something about reparations and how you think they should fix it. Why he thinks it is possible for them to they were asking him why they think they should pay reparations, right? And he gave them their answer, and they started asking him to make to find out the numbers, like on national TV. Like, are you guys being real serious right now? And number one is that let me ask this: why do they think that they actually have say, or they have something to say anytime the issue of reparations comes up? I think if really they do not have something good to say, or they don't know a lot to talk about when it comes to reparations, they should just shut the hell up. Because listening to them all the damn time talking about why do you think I mean, it is cool for us to fix something that have how many generations experience and all that. And the man said, because you are still benefiting from the same system. Yeah, the same system that built all that, that did all that way years back, is still oppressing them and still benefiting from what their ancestors labored for. And if you think there is nothing to fix, then it is okay. But all I know is that eventually in the end, you all are still going to fix all this, whether you like it or not. And the other man that said, yeah, not just only the money. When you're done paying the money, you all send your people to down so they can serve as maid, serve in plantations and all that. So it can be equal to what you all put our people through. And the fact they always look for a way to gaslight themselves, not even me or black people, is just really very ridiculous, you know? All the time. Why do we have to fix it? Why not? Why are you not supposed to fix it? And the people that think that they do not have something to fix or repair, you all are still part of the problems black people are facing. Because you all mantle the system that is still oppressing them to this very moment. So the way you all mantle that system is also the way you all would dismantle it and also pay them the reparations that it's long due. It is more than overdue. Yeah. So you all bring up the Prime Minister on television to ask him all these questions, thinking that he may deviate or probably side you, when you all know one of your biggest shame is that slavery. And still you all are looking for a way to cover up and still think you do not have to pay reparations. Like I keep saying it, if we people really do not have anything to say, or I mean, all the time you want to talk about reparations and all that, when you all sit your ass down and still benefiting from all the jobs, from their sweat, from their labor and all that, you all are still benefiting out of all of it. And when they talk about reparations, you all stand up like, why do I have to pay that? You have to pay it, whether you like it or not. This is where I am going to draw the curtain. Thank you so much for the support. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.